I have seen so many opinions on where to go with Nekroz in this format that it is crazy. So Celza sent me a couple of deck lists that he's been messing around with for the new format. I just wanted to talk about some things that I've been seeing with this deck and, well, kind of where the community is lying on this. So there are two builds you can play. I've heard both ways on this. We might actually see a combo hybrid come out here. But the first list is the one where you strive to use Pot of Indulgence, or Extravaganza. You use it to capitalize, banish your extra deck, gain extra resources through the means of doing that. And that's not a bad thing. That's what players want to use the extra deck for, gaining that additional resource to further make sure that you are good. But a lot of people in that build are straying away from playing the incantations. They just believe that it is not correct. And while I can agree with that theory, I do like the incantation engine, and I do like Pot of Indulgence. I like the idea that you can capitalize on playing both. And then there are people on the back burner that are still talking about Zaborg the Mega Monarch. Now, Zaborg is a fairly interesting card for what it can do. We all understand that Zaborg has really fucking good synergy with this deck. Yes, I know, but they gave us one copy of Shritback, which everyone lit up. You literally get to pay the full ritual cost for any of your guys, and you get to recruit for a Warrior Nekroz monster. Like, this was kind of the missing piece that was preventing us from doing this. So there were a lot of people out there that were trying... Oh man, people are trying the Ben 10 engine still too. Like, I don't think anybody in the community knows where they're really going with the Nekroz deck. It's just there are so many paradigms that have been opened up by the inclusion of Shrit being back that it's crazy. And they also let up on Brionac. So, Brionac, you get to discard this guy to add one Nekroz from your deck to your hand, except for Nekroz of Brionac, or you target up to 2 face-up monsters on the field that were special summoned from the X deck and return them to the deck. And then, of course, you can ritual summon this card with any Nekroz ritual spell card, and then, you know, must be ritual summoned without using a Nekroz Brionac and can't be special by other ways. So, I always love the fact that the Nekroz always had double-sided effects. You know, you can go down the paradigm that you want. You get the ability to add with this. Like, it's great. It's really cool to see that Konami let up on this deck. But you have to decide which path you want to go down. Are you going to play Zaborg? Are you going to play Pot? Are you going to play the Incantation Engine? And I do think, for all intents and purposes, you probably are going to want to play the Incantation Engine. Now, you've also got to make the decision if you want to play Chalice Slime. And this build is not playing Chalice Slime. I am slightly indifferent about Chalice Slime. I think that Chalice Slime is a very good card. I think the fact that Chalice Slime exists gives you the ability to deck build differently with Nekroz. You have decisions that you get to make and things like that. And that's multiple skill trees. They're good. But call it what it is, guys. You know, these are all questions you're going to have to answer yourself. Now, Celza's current build that we're displaying up here on screen is a going second Nekroz deck. You kind of... I say it's going second because you clearly see the evenly matched in the deck to make sure that you're safe to resolve things. And you've got to make a lot of decisions in the deck building process to kind of make sure of things. So, I don't... going first, Nekroz just going second. I think that going second is probably the better build, but if you're trying to abuse Zaborg, you're trying to go first. Ugh, so many questions to be answered in so little time, I guess. But let's dig on into Celza's list here and see kind of what's going on here. Alright, so we do have triple Ash Blossom. Assuming that this deck, its best mode is always going second, you want to make sure that you've maximized on Ashes. It's not the greatest hand trap in the world, but it does give you a means to combat a good chunk of the metagame, which is pretty shitty as it is. Now, this build is also playing triple Denko Sec in the main deck. Back row decks, Solemn decks, they're fucking annoying. Sky Striker will probably be the bane of this deck's existence. You need a way to counteract that, and you have that. Denko Sekka, that fresh normal summon. It does take up a normal, but you'll be fine because you get to abuse it. Now, we're playing 2 copies of the bookstore. This is the one that actually recurs a ritual spell from your graveyard. I straight 2 across all the board. We have 2 copies of the Search for a Ritual Spell. Then, of course, we have 2 copies of the Pencil Pin. This targets a ritual monster in your graveyard and actually recurs that back to your hand. And then we have 2 copies of the Search for Ritual Monster. I still am a big fan of Chalice Slime. It's all within the deck building, though. Do you want to play Chalice Slime? Do you not want to play Chalice Slime? Like, these are some hard decisions. It's just, right now, I'm like, man, you can play Celebrated Camtation Birth. You can special summon anything you want. Like, you got a lot of things that you can mess around with. Now, we are playing triple copies of Manju. This is essentially mandatory. You don't really get any room to really argue that. The core normal summon search is pretty good. Of course, the 1 copy of Shrit. Why aren't you playing Shrit? Look at him. He's such a happy boy. This is why you play Nekroz. It's because of Shrit and the triple copies of Brionic, actually. So, welcome back, Brionic. I salute you. Can't believe they actually did this for us, but good job. We got 1 back. Now, we are playing Triple Colossalus, getting the ability to search discard for any Nekroz spell and trap card in our deck. Cool. And then, of course, you get to blink a special monster from the extra deck, so your opponent can't really do anything with this guy. Also, the fact that's a quick effect is cute. 1 copy of Trishula. I've heard a couple people say that going second Trishula is just not the same anymore. I kind of understand that. We have 1 copy of Unicorn. This card's still one of the best cards in the deck. Now, we are playing triple copies of Valk, and I've heard a lot of people say that Valk just outright sucks at the moment. I don't have enough data to agree or disagree with that. I think that with the way that life has gone for this deck, Valk is a fantastic card. You know, drawing, negating attacks, ensuring that you don't die. Yeah, he's one of the best cards that Nekroz had, but once again, at the end of the day, like, people are going to probably be straying from this. So that's the thing, the consensus I've been hearing with Valk is he's kind of sucking. We have 1 copy of Nekroz Cycle. I think this is fine. I know a lot of people were trying builds at just 2 each of the ritual spells. I think that's too cheeky. I think you're just kind of wasting resources at that point. Stick to what you know. I'd say 2/2 is fine, but 1 cycle, 2 Kaleido, 2 copies of the Mirror. Okay, this seems pretty standard. Now, we get triple copies of Preparation of Rites. Yes! I love it. And of course we have triple copies of Evenly Matched, wrapping up the main deck. Now, like I said, you're trying to play this deck as a means to go second. If you kind of fail at that option, you're going to have issues. But we'll have to wait and see kind of where Nekroz is going at this next YCS to kind of see if the going second build, how your deck building is going to be. I'm looking forward to seeing those results. Now, moving on along down here, the extra deck. You also have a lot of options to adjust in here as well, kind of depending on the meta, kind of what you want to test. So, of course, we have 1 copy of Unicorn, 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix, pretty standard cards. We have 1 copy of Utopia of the Lightning. I think this is just kind of to get the burst damage in, to clear the window in case things kind of start looking grim for you. I don't see any issue with this. I think this is fine. We have 1 copy of Utopia to go with Utopia of the Lightning. This is kind of old school. We have 1 Silent Honor Arc. Okay. We have 1 copy of Exciton Knight. 1 copy of Castel. Man. 1 copy of Trishula. 1 copy of Star Eater. 1 copy of Shooting Star Dragon and Shooting Quasar, 10 and 12. We have 1 copy of Herald of the Arclight. I know a few people are like, oh man, you should play 2. Why? You're not playing Indulgence in this build. You'll be fine. The old Moonlight and Black Rose Dragon. And 1 copy of Ints, just in case you have to Kaleido this off, kill something. I don't know how many times it's going to come up, but you can actually do it. And of course, the extra deck, very much geared for the current meta. Triple copies of Prankatops. Let's all give it up for Prankatops being a staple. Yes! Yay! He's here. And to stay. Of course, triple copies of Phantasme, the Illusion Dragon. I think Phantasme in this deck is crazy. You special summon this guy out when your opponent's got a full board of dudes. You get to draw, set up your Evenly Matched, and you smile. And of course, we have triple copies of Yield Book of Eclipse. Cyber Dragons or Thunder Dragons are a bad matchup for everybody. You know, no fun allowed. And of course, we have triple copies of Twin Twister for, well, you guessed it, the other thing, for triple red reboot for Altergeist, because these matchups, they're bad for these decks. So guys, what do you guys think about Celza's Nekroz deck? Do you think that this is the way to go? Do you think Chalice Slime? Do you think Zobwarg? there's a lot of things to do here. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think is going to be the new norm for this deck. And well, guys, the ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.